He has this command place, which is basically if I snap my finger and point, he will run to that place and lay down.
You don't have to zap him.
No. Not like Hassan Piker. No electrocution of dogs here.
How disgusting is that? What does that tell you about a person?
Well, I think it tells you that they're not, that they're bad people.
Yes.
If you can actually cause suffering to an innocent animal, you're probably the kind of person who doesn't worry about suffering in people as well. Yeah. And that's been my experience. If you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be a really terrible person. So it's one of the ways, we really sort of test people is if Atlas responds well to them, if they like Atlas, we know they're good people. But you can tell if somebody's really mean to animals, it's like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing. Yeah. Like every serial killer ever has actually been really bad to animals. That's sort of how they started.
Welcome to a deep dive where today we're really pulling apart some recent public commentary, stuff that draws a very hard line, between how a person treats animals and, well, the moral quality of their soul, basically.
Yeah, it's really charged claim, and it kind of tries to turn what might be a personal choice or a training method into this absolute, almost infallible moral test.
Exactly. So the source material we're digging into today is public commentary by J.D. Vance. This was during an interview on the New York Post's podcast, actually.
Right, and the context, the spark for it all was this incident involving the streamer Hassan Piker. And some controversy around, I think, was a dog training collar.
Yeah, the specifics of that incident, the sort of he said, she said of it all, that's not really our focus today. Our mission is more to isolate and, really analyze the very strong, very definite claims Vance makes off the back of it.
He takes this idea of mistreating dogs and turns it into this almost ironclad predictor of a person's, ultimate moral character.
It moves super quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
From a debate about, what training tools are okay, to a discussion about criminal pathology almost.
It really does. He basically treats this one behavior as a kind of universal moral truth. And I think we need to understand the logic and maybe the rhetorical power behind asserting something like that, such an absolute rule in public life.
Okay, so let's jump right in then. Let's start where the conversation started with the debate over dog training methods.
Right.
The source materials shows Vance pretty quickly setting his own methods up in stark contrast to the aversion methods that were being talked about. He was asked specifically about electric training tools, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. And his reaction was, immediate and really unambiguous. He talks about his own dog, Atlas, and describes this specific command, like a place command, that Atlas follows instantly: precision.
How does he say he does it?
Just a simple snap of the finger and a point. And the dog, Atlas, apparently runs to a spot and lies down.
And he makes a point about the method itself, right? About the lack of pain or force.
Oh, absolutely. He really emphasizes that. He explicitly says, and it's quoted as, no, electric.
So multiple no's there. Very clear.
Very clear. It's more than just saying, I prefer positive reinforcement. It feels like a moral statement right there.
Yeah, because the broader controversy, the one he's reacting to, it really does hinge on that philosophical divide in dog training, doesn't it?
Completely. You've got positive reinforcement, which is all reward-based, versus aversive methods, which rely on correction or punishment, often involving, shock collars or prong collars.
And Vance is firmly planting his flag on one side, the morally acceptable side, in his view.
Precisely. And what's fascinating, I think, is how quickly the use of a tool like a collar stops being about just canine behavior,
right,
and becomes almost instantly a proxy for human moral capacity. For Vance, the method itself, that's the first checkpoint. That's the first moral hurdle.
The willingness to inflict any pain, maybe even just discomfort, for control. That's the line for him.
That seems to be the starting point, yeah. It kind of sets the stage for the much bigger claim he makes next.
Which is really the core of this deep dive, isn't it? This core assertion, the idea that cruelty towards animals, especially dogs, is this definitive, non-negotiable moral red flag. So what's the immediate judgment he applies when he sees, say, harsher methods used?
Well, the judgment is sweshed, and pretty unnuanced, honestly. He states that seeing someone use those methods leads him immediately to believe, and this is a direct quote, I think it tells you that they're bad people.
Wow, just like that. Bad people.
Just like that. It's an immediate, high-certainty verdict, based purely on observing that one specific action related to dog training.
That feels like quite a leap. To say a training choice automatically makes someone a bad person. But he doesn't just leave it there, does he? He lays out a kind of logic connecting the animal's suffering to potential human suffering.
Yeah, he builds this kind of chain of suffering, you could call it.
Okay.
The act, as he frames it, involves being able to, quote, cause suffering to an innocent animal.
The word innocent feels really key there.
It absolutely is. Dogs, especially in, Western culture, they often occupy this position of unique vulnerability, innocence, which makes cruelty towards them seem particularly awful in public morality.
So what happens in his logic when someone crosses that line? What does the ability to inflict that pain imply about them more broadly?
The implication he draws is basically a transferable lack of empathy. His argument is, if you can inflict pain on an innocent animal without concern, then, quote, you're probably the kind of person who doesn't worry about suffering in people as well.
So it's like the cruelty towards the dog is a testing ground for indifference to human pain.
That's the frame, yes.
Is the source material giving any backup for this, like sociological data? Or is this mostly tapping into a common societal belief, a feeling people have?
It feels much more rooted in that common cultural belief, but Vance, he really elevates it. He presents it almost like a scientific principle of morality,
Right, and he makes this incredibly strong claim about predictability.
Oh, yeah. He doubles down hard on the certainty aspect. He says, quote, if you mistreat dogs, that's almost 100% sign that you're going to be a really terrible person.
Almost 100%. Not 80, not 90,
Yep.
Almost 100. That level of certainty, that's what makes the claim so rhetorically powerful, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It cuts through all the complexity.
Yeah, it suggests that forget honesty, forget loyalty, forget political views. How you treat a dog, that's the single most reliable predictor of whether you're, fundamentally rotten.
Exactly. And the appeal of a 100% predictor, especially in our messy world, is its simplicity, right? It bypasses all the complicated ethical debates, all the nuance.
And just gives you a fast, clean answer.
Good people treat dogs well. Bad people don't. End of story. And in public discourse, simplicity like that, it often steamrolls nuance. The dog becomes less a companion, more a moral barometer, a really reliable one in this view.
Which kind of sets the stage for how he talks about applying this rule in his own life.
Yeah.
That brings us to the personal litmus test he mentions.
Ah, yes, the Atlas test.
Right, the sources detail how he uses his own dog, Atlas, as sort of screening mechanism for people he meets.
Yeah, he describes it quite openly. He says it's, quote, one of the ways we really sort of test people.
How does the test work?
It's pretty simple, according to him. If someone engages genuinely with the dog, if, quote, Atlas responds well to them, if they like Atlas, we know they're good people.
That's fascinating. It gives the dog this almost infallible, intuitive moral sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like the dog's reaction validates the human's morality. The dog becomes the judge of character. How does using that personal test work, rhetorically speaking?
Well, it's a really powerful narrative tool, isn't it? It's relatable. Lots of people feel they trust their pet's judgment, My dog doesn't like him.
Right. People say that all the time.
Exactly. But Vance uses it to reinforce his main idea that cruelty, or maybe the potential for it, is palpable. It's not just an intellectual concept. The dog can literally sense if someone is a bad person. It anchors his big absolute claim in something that feels like everyday observational proof.
Okay, so we've gone from training methods to the 100% rule to the personal Atlas test. But then he escalates things dramatically.
Yeah, this is where it moves from the personal, the everyday screening into discussing severe historical criminality.
This is where it gets really interesting. As you said earlier, he invokes this high-stakes analogy, criminal pathology.
The jump feels very deliberate, and it's highly impactful rhetorically. He takes this concept of animal cruelty and links it directly to the absolute darkest extreme of human behavior.
By comparing it to
figures like Jeffrey Dahmer. He says, quote, it's like the Jeffrey Dahmer thing.
Okay, wait. What exactly is the Jeffrey Dahmer thing that he's referring to there? What's the connection he's making?
He seems to be invoking that generalized claim you sometimes hear in discussions about criminal development. It's sometimes associated with the McDonald triad in criminology, this idea that early signs of severe antisocial pathology often include things like cruelty to animals, setting fires, persistent bedwetting.
Oh, okay. I've heard of that connection being made, yeah.
Right. So Vance is leveraging that cultural shorthand, basically. He's arguing that, casual mistreatment of a dog isn't just a sign of poor character. It could be the very first step on a really severe pathological path.
And he makes this extraordinary claim about the origin of severe criminal behavior. He generalizes this pattern, doesn't he?
He really does. He says, generalizing massively, quote, "Every serial killer ever has actually been really bad animals." That's sort of how they started.
Every serial killer ever. Bad to animals, presumably, he means.
Presumably, yes. That seems to be the implication. That's the ultimate rhetorical move, isn't it?
How so?
Because he's positioning the whole debate, even something seemingly small like a training collar choice if it involves cruelty, he's positioning that as potentially the foundational initial act, the starting point that can lead down the line to monstrous human behavior.
It transforms the act from maybe an ethical mistake or a bad choice
into the potential seed of future violence against people.
It basically takes his almost 100% sign idea and tries to ground it in the most extreme examples of human evil imaginable.
Yeah. It suggests that if you see that initial symptom, the animal cruelty, you're effectively looking at the precursor, potentially, to something like a serial killer. It's a very powerful, very frightening connection to draw.
So if we step back and look at the whole framework the source material lays out, Vance seems to argue that how we treat innocent animals, dogs specifically in this context, is presented not just as one possible indicator of character.
No, not just possible. It's framed as a necessary, almost absolute predictor. It predicts your capacity for broader human empathy or, conversely, for severe cruelty.
Okay, so the sources seem to present this logical progression as he lays it out. First, dog training methods are the moral flashpoint. They draw a line between good methods and bad people.
Right, checkpoint one.
Second, any perceived cruelty becomes this nearly certain predictor of causing broader human suffering. That's the almost 100% rule.
Checkpoint two, the certainty principle.
And finally, this behavior gets placed on this pathological continuum, linking it directly back to figures like Dahmer, who are synonymous with extreme evil.
Exactly. And the rhetorical power of his whole argument seems to rest on the consistency of that narrative. The dog as this pure, incorruptible litmus test whose judgment and our interaction with it is absolute.
It's certainly a very effective tool for making quick character judgments in the public sphere. It's simple, it's visceral.
Very much so. It taps into deep-seated feelings about animals and innocence.
So this whole discussion, it really raises a vital question maybe for you, the listener, to consider. If the treatment of innocent animals is held up, as Vance claims here, as this near absolute predictor of bad character, how much weight, how much scrutiny should we actually place on observing these specific, maybe private behaviors when we're evaluating the moral fitness of individuals, especially those operating in public life?
Yeah, how much weight does that one data point carry? Is it the ultimate tell or just one piece of a much larger, more complex puzzle?
Something worth mulling over perhaps the next time you encounter one of these heated debates.
Yeah.
Maybe about something as seemingly simple as a leash or a training collar.